Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Reconnect Podcast and TV Show. Today we have the distinguished guest, Mochesane Albert Mpali. Greetings and welcome to the podcast. Ho mamedi ba rona ke dumela ba bang ba o tseba ba bang ba sa o tsebe. So re ka thabela o qale pele ka ho etsa educational background ya hao masala bana ho fihle mona mo teng o la qala ho kae e tsena o tla ba comfortable ka primary tshebetso ba zithi ka pota qala from scratch.
Okay. Ke le dumedise babuhi ba the Reconnect Podcast. Jwalo ka ha ke se ke hlalositswe mabitso a ka ha falletse ke Mochesane Albert Mpali. Ho tloha bonyenyaneng ba ka from primary ke tla lakatsa ho qala from primary. Ke kene primary tse ka bang tharo. So di primary tse ka bang tharo tsena ke a kgola ya pele ke bitswang Zion Primary School ha eso ke Mapoteng. So ke kene primary Mapoteng for dilemo tse ka bang tharo from standard 1 to 3, and then yaba mme wa ka wa transfer wa iswa Sefikeng. So wa tseba hore hona le mesebetsi ya mmusong ya sokodisa transfer ngana.
Me ha bene le teacher
No wa ka ona sebetsa lekgotleng. Ene le quartile ke so na ya hodimo le class. So tla utlwa ntse re ya hore na le high school isa le ke hodimo le class ba ke mosetse morao. So ya ba ke a tloha ke bala standard 3 transfer la Sefikeng ka ya Sefikeng wa bala standard 4 5, and then ke ntse le motse pedi fela Sefikeng. From there ya ba ke ya high school moholo Menyameng Phoro. So ke motho wa letshega ka botlolo ehlile madi a ka hla hona mono. Ke kgola itse ha ke bala standard 5 mona ona ntsa motswadi ona ntsa le Sefikeng, but ha ke tsebe hore na monna moholo ka poena mme wa ka ba ile ba desire ba ngo hai motho ona ha ka khutlele kwana. But one thing that ke ile ka ithuta yona ke hore bana ba tshepa the principal ya sekolo se bitswang Menyameng Primary School ka nako eno na bitswa Njays Family o sa fitile, may his soul rest in peace. So ba fihla ba nkisa Menyameng Primary School ke lo etsa standard 6 and 7. Hantle ne ba batla ebe ke ile ke lo etsa standard 7, but discussion tsa bona e ka ba ile wa dumellana ha ke batle motho wa grooming kae. I want to groom him from standard 6 ke mo beha hantle boemong ba standard 7 a qale 6 ya ba sa 7. That's how he used to work. Hono sena bana ba hae ba fihlang se ba bala 7 ehle ona batla ho ba fe that kind of foundation. So ka fihla ka ya high school Menyameng Phoro ke teng mo eleng hore ha ke ile ka fumana grooming e ngata haholo ya temo. Ya ba check bala 6 7 ka tloha hona teng ha ke lo etsa form 1 motswadi a ba sa transfer ya isu Mokgotlong kwa. So ka tla ho tloha ka Mokgotlong ya le ke mosetse morao hape. Ka kena sekolo se bitswang Sefikeng, I mean St James High School ka Kgantsheng ka mana batho ba Mokgotlong ba etse ba tshela ba bangata ka Kgantsheng ka mana ka so from there ka nnete ka bala form 1 to form 5 ya ba teng ke tsitsitsi ya ha ke tloha ka ya Limpopo ka lo etsa ICT, Information and Communication Technology, from honors ya teng from ke le 1 up until ke qeta ke le 4 in 2016. Yes sir, that's my educational background.
So how get 2016 because company ya hao ya kena ya pele ya Hydroponics we registerile company lo October 2021.
Yes.
Hona le dilemo tse ngata dipakeng. O ka re etsa wena ho no etsalang ka mora ho qete wala sebetsa kapa wala ba le di-side hustle tseo di etsang le wala ke o susumeletsa hore o qale kgwebo ya Hydroponics tjhelete tse ding tseo ileng wa di qala o tla bo se o bua ka tsona.
Okay. Ke kgola ke tle ke fana ka context fela hore ha ke le high school e ne ke kena ho nona le ntho bitswang career guidance. So career guidance nka ke le hlono hore ba ya ifumana because most of the times but how I wanna your capability in something else, they are just gonna guide you on what they feel like can be best for you. So ke ne ke le motho wa nka ka dikgathatso because iseng tse mona tseo di nang no not those tabo bo sukudisa bo matitjhere bo not those kind, but ke ne ke le motho wa a sa rateng ho etsa ntho tse etswang ke everybody else. I have always been somebody who loves kind of challenging. I think challenge is always young attractor, they kind of pull me to them. So ho ile ha etsahala bo madimabe ba hore motswadi wa ka in 2011 ha ke bala form 5 ebe she got accused a qetelletse a ile toronko. So she was the one le a breadwinner. So how etsahala hore motswadi o bala form 5 ebe o kena chankaneng ne ke bala form 5. My dad was doing all he can, but the finances ne di sa kgona hore ebe di nthusa to meet the demands tse ne ke na le tsona ka nako eno. Ka nako eno ya selemo ho tla bo hua dintho tse kang farewelling, tla bo nkuwa maeto ho etswang all the activities tse bana ba tla ba involved ka tsona ka nako eno. So o ile on March 2011. So ene le nako e le sentseng re ya qalella hore bele ke iphekela ho tsa ngola later on. Taba ena ile ya ntshukutla both educationally, because now ke ne se ke tlameha hore le nna ka bonna how dula ne ke sa dule le ke ne ke dula ona dula toropong le bana beso ba bang le ntate wa ka. Nna ke dula in some kind of a semi boarding place. So how le ngwana dulang boarding o tla etsa ho mafelo a kgwedi o batla tjhelete ya it's like ya grocery ya whatever the petty cash whatever you tla mo e hloka. So itse ha ka ta go ya mono ya ba bua le tjhelete ena e se fokotse. Ha o le motho you had to understand the situation. We be handle. Now I'm facing taba ya ho ngola later on kana pe. Now I have to really adapt to the current situation of bana ho society taba itse kana pe I didn't even think about it hakalokalo. What happened ke hore fela e be ilawa something e fihla ya ba sile ke tla ho adapt ho yona. So ke ne ke le ka ho fa the context of the situation ho go se hore na from the level e ke neng ke le ho yona kana ko what made me how ke qetella ke khethile the career ke petelletse ke khethile. This story is a build up to Lema Hydroponics itliwa. So challenges are ho hloka the finances is stable ka yeah, they came on like immediate. It's not something that I was given time to say, try to adapt. I had to immediately cut a lot of things, including most people have different mechanisms on how to handle situations. But for me, to avoid the pressure, we know pressure high school, even level they succumb to pressure. Motho a ka tloela go nwa jwala go ya menateng ha mosebetsi o fela ya ba ntse le ka to keep up with that lifestyle. I get like in the and stuff, but what I did kind of to cut short on the activity, to remain with a very close circle yaka. Honaleba khotsiba ba bedi ba ileng ba nthusa in that situation ka nako. So ke ile ka tswela pele ka nnete se ke lekile to cut short on everything, but there was a situation e leng hore jwale ke ne se ke tlameha ho depend on dijo tsa sekolong bela wa kitlekeje, you know, ne re lebeletse lunch fela. So I had to make sure whatever I get ka lunch, I have to keep it for the next supper le breakfast. Hona le mokgotsi wa ka ile mo hore le today ntse ke mo le wena ke dile le yena, but I realized I was now being too much for him also. Nana le needs. So I had to find some ways now I can fokoletse the pressure, you know. How na le motho to say you have to host so independent, you have to do something on your own. So can I say you depend more on the lunch, and then maybe I'll just eat what I can now and then save for supper or the breakfast the next day, because tšhelete ke neng ke fumana e ne kgona ho accommodate bo di rent, accommodate bo di khase ko ke ne se sufficient. Nna ka nako eno le abuti wa ka nne le ngwana from 5, and then my dad was the only person under finance the two. So I understood the situation and then had to do what I had to do for hore ke mo thuse ke mo meet halfway. So ke ile ka ba le monyetla o tlo utlwa ha ke ile ka ba, that was an opportunity for me. Ke ne ke le motho a sebetsang ka thata di classeng. So how le motho a sebetsang ka thata, I was always on the top 5 school, top 5, top 3, top 5, top 3. I was ranging on a moon. Ho ile wa etsahala hore e ga ha re qeta ho ngola ebe ho tla taba yana career guidance. Hai wena o ka etsang. That is where the story gets exciting. Nobody approached me with that kind of stuff. So kana go ene ene etsahala, I felt ne go dile bohloko ke bana ebe why ene etswa ke deputy principal. Ebe why bana nna batho ba sa mfe a career guidance. Ebe what happened? Hi, but I left it like that. Yeah, but hey, the financial situation, if it's like one thing into sang happy, that waka kana kui lem hore the results di ile tsa tswa di tswile ke le second class, ke suye second class ke sekgowa ha ke motho le sekgowa. So you know, I got a second class. Yeah, ba that waka we nearly net 200. Aga monna ke na le net 200 tšhelete engwe ke ya transport, e ngwe ke ya wa patala application fee. Ke ile ka theoha mokotlong ka tla Mapoteng, ha qeta ho theoha ke fihla Mapoteng. Ya ba bele, this is on me hore na how do I use this 200 bucks to make sure I get into school se tlo nthusa ka NMDS, and then get to buy a little bit relieved ka the finances at school. I have gone through this situation. I don't want it to repeat. Abagisha dikolo tse 4 Fokoti le Mkomping na le CES. Then mewaka mewa ausua mewaka ile le nese approached me I'm for advice ka nursing nursing out to blah blah blah, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it, but who is gonna finance me NHTC until I cannot depend on my parents to anything that I would need. I have to find something I'm gonna be relieved till when I get back leave even monthly. So I had to make a choice. So I remained with the 4 CAS because NMDS in to sponsor CAS but I remained with the 3. So all these other institutions, they focused more on Soho. And I hope like you take it. So I had a B as a Soho, so I was like, okay. Now I remained with Lincoln Queen Fair. What are my chances? Lincoln Queen can have an internal reputation in Beauri. And anywhere. That is why all those negativities. So the influence decision based on the financial capability. So I had to choose school of Roma is more about English and the rest of the winter. Forgot it was also more about that, and then because it's in that credit as a whole. Lim was the only option here. Yes, you can have English, but what the hell? What are you gonna do with English? We need maths, we need science, we need accounting, we need this and this. Yeah, you can have English, yeah, how it's fine, but it's not a must. So I was like, okay. Then this is my choice. Then what do I wanna do? ICT until something more in a popular. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. This is where I'm gonna put my last money. That's where the story began. It's a 4. I found the course exciting. It was on my own. Let me do a little bit research about this. This is exciting. This can be good for you. It was my sole decision. I'm gonna do this. I graduated at 2016. Immediately I so we go through the journey and then I graduate. 6 months after I graduated in October. I graduated about 2017 February. So that's where my story began. I got off I was a junior software engineer in one company, dominant in custom software or solutions in Lesotho. From there, I even forgot about them. Listening to Kakhlonyaka with them until 2020, but 2019 corona, everybody was affected by that, but trend when something happens, social media will be the first place to make it trend. So a lot of concern about food inflation. Today you talk about cabbage 40 rand. Inki bukai. Na le bone tamati le mo ke $10. Na le bone spinach, na le bone. So Lesotho depends solely on SA on everything. I get everything I'm saying ko re importa le setene ntate so kana na ba re importa le setene sena se setene ya thola la batho ba ngata kana ba etsang setene. It says capacity ya gona in terms of production is lenyane. So kana ku if a country depends on SA ka import ka poka diversity around 270 something million. So how much what's gonna happen? It says actually the global in demand and then supply binyane. So economies of scales came in kana ku ya mari jwa di ba profit that ka. So kile okay, there is a term for what I went through. Black tax. I had to support my family. So it's hard. I mean, the prices that I have to find the means to cut down on the food costs. That's where idea hydroponics came to my mind. The challenge I love to pull them towards myself, but they love to pull me towards them. So I try to find the solution and I say spend that on fresh vegetables. What can I do? I used to my so ngase khutele matsege ngwana ka ke do lema ya ke senze ke sebetsa masabomo ko it was gonna complicate my life kana ku you needs to be stable ntse ke le ka iphumana in the corporate world. So yeah, but I'm like, okay, let me find what I can do ntse ke le mabalane mona gore fela ke itlhaisitse ke je ebe ke khatha cost ya ditotse batho ba bangata they always get surprised or ha lo ka dijo mane tse bileng di sa mane le nama le anything. Why o tla fumana on a monthly basis some people spend about 3.5 on fresh vegetables and fruits or sakinyeletse dinama or grains or anything. So I realized that no, I don't have enough money or I can spend that that ya check and need to do some research, research papers. Just simple Google search on this similar case. About the ChatGPT popular for us. AI was still something very fresh. For me it was more about machine learning, not language processing models. This is really popular currently. So I did just a simple Google search and then a lot of concepts, but again hydroponics because in anywhere without depending on arable land. I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, but there was a lot of challenges. There are no inputs to hydroponics in Lesotho. So then I think that's the highlight where I was and then why I got into this. Maybe we can move on to the next topic. Yeah.
So then will I experiment hydroponics before register a company?
Oh yes. From 2019 until more about research, more about me feeding myself. Until the idea turning a personal problem into a business. Italy solve issue ya the inputs to hydroponics. The inputs to hydroponics from SA. So what I did with an MVP, just a movable viable product. Iliam far an idea. When I will share what I can't say. I was like, what was I doing here? But ke ile ka kgona ke hlahisa dihebo, ke hlahisa dipeppanyana, ke hlahisa di-lettucenyana, ke hlahisa di-spinach, ke hlahisa tamatinyana, and then ebe ke pepper. But later on, ka hlokomela hore sewa sena ke sa naha kaofela. That's why I was like, okay, maybe this can be an ultimate solution to the current problem and the future problems. Climate change, it's the in thing. It's the problem. It's the current problem everywhere globally. It's not about Lesotho. So I was like, okay, let me actually make this into a business. It will solve matata the entire nation. From 2019, 2020, everything in the personal in the improve my models until I register. Okay, this is gonna be a business. Yes, sir.
Okay. So from the name of the company, Hydroponics, Lema Agriventures.
That's a trading name. The actual name is Lema Agriventures Pty. Yeah. So hakibulela trading name. We have different products. So it's kind of a holding company. So honale different branches in the company. The current one we launch haufinyane ya Lema Agri-shop. Inputs hydroponics. So it will have its own trading name. So Lema Agriventures solely focuses on hydroponics manufacturing and installation.
Can you take us through the journey company, how you get to register, hopefully it for the milestones that you achieve, the challenge to occupy this one alone.
Okay. Ekaka ke namana mo kile ka he ke le se ke entse ya MVP. So MVP ena ya ka ke entse ka inputs tse ne ke di fumana di hard way. Ke kopane le qholotso ya ha hona ene inputs tsa hydroponics Lesotho. So what I did was to use my creativity level, couple skill hore ke ile ka shebella YouTube. I went to YouTube. That's something about they act like you are not going to ho hang the whole business came from just YouTube videos. I can tell you ke ile ka YouTube ya ba I see hore na o high hydroponics project from scratch na o hloke hae. Then realized hore ha hona di inputs tse ntse batho bana ba di sebedisa. Then I was like, okay, let me go through the hardware tse available le nna ke bona na can I find anything similar. Ke ile ka fumana a few, but then in this submit the specifications tse ne ke di hloka ka nako e. So what I did was just use locally available materials with MVP. Then I started going on tours in SA. Ke tutile to build the actual system on YouTube. I started scouting from SA hona similar farms couple projects in Akidifin. South Africa was already booming in hydroponics. So I went to a few farms, guys. The tour I had to pay for those tours. Why are they using this instead of that? What can I improve from where I was to the stage? So ke ile ka ya ka tjhakela le di input shops tsa yona hydroponics ya ba ke ntse ke ha database ya ka ya di-supplier but challenge e ileng ya hlaha jwale ke ya hore di-inputs tsena they were capital intensive. Hydroponics that's one thing e ke tla o itse yona. It's not like temo yane ya mobu mo ka lahlelang peo fela ya ba o sheba kwana, and then ha o le lucky pula e tla hlaha o ska hloka ho tshella. Ha o le lucky ke bo affectwa ke dikokonyana, o ke bo affectwa ke lehola, o ke bo affectwa ke all these other things. Ha o le lucky, then it says o ka gamble fela wa lahlela peo, and then ntse tla tsaka something e be kotutse. But with hydroponics you have to spend first a lot of money before ka re o tla kotula. So that was the second biggest challenge. The first one ke ena ya hore di input tsa hydroponics ya di fully o hang. We are still in the process to establishing something like that, because we are at a level area. We are pioneering this. We have established or created our own market for this. The market needs the input in. So the second one is capital intensiveness. I had to spend my own savings. Support the lapa. Ne support ka tsona di savings ke save, and then I got save the rest ke fitisa, and then how hlabo mathatanyana ntse ke tsipa on the savings. But now I saw this opportunity of which kind of going on was not demand there, but I was solving a problem. So what I did was use my own savings to build up something could be presentable to somebody. I have this concept, but it's expensive, but it's working. It can solve matata how generally. The monthly in the kakareng ke tlo register the client. So I had to spend around 55 to 58,000 to build up the model, and then have all the inputs, and then do a few campaigns. So in 2021 I said I had an idea. I was procrastinating on making it a full business model. In 2021 something unfortunate happened. I lost my mom. So I went through that phase up until now things are a little bit back in my control. I had to take over all her responsibilities. I had to cover everything. So 2021 was more of a grief period, but I didn't get the opportunity to do so. I had to be welcome all her responsibilities. Extended family support, insurance, so I had to cover all those. But then everything now it's settled down. I was like, heck, I have something, I have this, and now I have to do something. I have to kind of have a job security for Batua, because I cannot go on being the only one. It would end up something you feel like you have to resent them. Complain but banababo got nothing. How you have certain level you can support your immediate family, or everybody has their limits. So to avoid kind of that situation, this grief pushed me okay, now this has happened. I have established this confidence hydroponics. Now what can I do to secure mesebetsi for batho ba, because mesebetsi e sentse e sokodisa. Tse bala high school ba bang ba qeta ho qeta o tertiary, ha nhlahlama ona le tertiary. So I had to think quickly. The only way I saw that possible was ho qala kgwebo, hle ke etse a full functional business. Yaba ha 2021 ke register a company, I ka ta register yaba ho sohla bo bedco, was called BCP, our business plan competition ya bedco BPC. So yaba I was already confident ke na le something e nka ka bontshang a client, or this is what I do. So yaba ke apply that competition. I was lucky enough to be one of the top 50. Yaba ke fumana funding. Yes, sir. So Bedco took me from the level ya konanyana ya ka ne ke etsa MVP on that thing to the current structure since today. So the current structure ka tšhelete ya Bedco sile sa kgona hore se produce just limited vegetables. So yaba I approach a few of the people who ba train about this. They showed interest. Yaba we come together and then we kind of expanded a little bit. Yaba from there, that was 2022. 2023, yaba re qalela ho supply Pick n Pay ka fresh produce, but unfortunately Pick n Pay ga fumana high demand ya Pick n Pay is way bigger than the capacity and yaba we apply for other competitions like Steam, yaba re apply le Coffee fihlile okay, Steamy sile sa re thusa to actually build systems around our business. You know how run business without advice you would run it thinking you are doing well, you are doing perfect, but how kopana le batho ba sentse ba le in the business world, the advice e rileng ga e fumana e ileng ya tswela molemo feta tsohle ke hore we had to build systems. Mo go nne re sebetsa ka teng le go fela le sebetsa le colleague ya ka e mo re le babedi fela le go fela o ya ka mono, and then tla etsa ntho a bona e hloka ho etsahala on that day. But yaba we learn about a lot of different things, standard operating procedures, the code of conduct. We learn about setting the policies at HR, the policies at finance, and then we kind of structured our business operations, as a professional. Then coffee came in, and then we got to be the top 10, the first cohort there, coffee. After that, fumana capacity ya Pick n Pay le Kodimaro. But instead of expanding the facility, I saw the gap in the hlokahala ka nako eno. One of the biggest gaps in the system, and then the next one in the personnel ka hore I was doing almost everything, and then ke sena nako ya ho move the company forward. Yaba with Coffee's funds, my advisors kana kweng le bona bana ba batla ke expand the facility, but utlo hopola story sa ka ke ile ka re hangata external influence, external advices, you don't have to necessarily do everything you advise. You have to when all the motho tseba tlhoko ya ha wa tseba hore hai yeah, I can expand the facility to meet demand. Yeah. But my business I need to have somebody who would be focusing on how follow the procedure that said. I would need somebody to take the produce highly ready to the market. Somebody at like Bruna, somebody at transplant, at clean, at like somebody would be going to the trade shows and a kisa. So it can be mutual. So you can imagine how definitely the company would be stagnant. So I went against the advice. Yes, by long advisor, but they actually ended up handling what was my vision. So by the way, that we think this is what can actually work. Sales agency, and then you personally permanently. Something big came to my mind. The ultimate solution. I came up with a project Let's Collective. Let's Collective is a project everybody o sa tsebe ka hydroponics ka potse ba ka yona ona le enough capital, ona le limited capital. You dumella ho kena into hydroponics farming, and then be nka produce how so tlaisitse ka tsela go guide ka yona ye go tataisitse ka yona go train and everything e be nka ya produce go isa market. That is our biggest milestone currently. All these other ones led to the idea how okay, now we have enough personnel, we have team here kareng ha mosebetsi o le mongata ka etsa mosebetsi e se nna fela tla etsa mosebetsi I introduce the business model go batho ba nne ba le in my circle. And then we also use social media. A lot of people loved the idea, and more are still coming. We wanna stabilize things hanyani the collective. So ke model o eleng hore o ka tlasa Lema, but Lema yona e fana ka the manufacturing service, the training and everything. And then under Hydroponics we currently have about the whites 98. So the whites 98, we have hydroponic systems all over the country. From last year I launched August to this year. So we currently have just a year and 2 months into the project. That's how the general public picked the idea, because we saw a gap. So gap e tsekileng ka di bona kana kweno ke ne ke solve my problem ya ho ga ke na capacity enough for the market. E be ke fa batho ba ka kgahlang ho kena into this to meet the demand. But how so unto pinya ntho, even if it's your idea o to fumana a lot of gaps. Gap ya pile rileng ga e fumana ke ya hore hona le a lot of service providers ka rana hati tso farang climate smart agriculture services. Let's amhlala di shade net le di greenhouse le di plastic tunnels. You know what happens, they install the system and then they let you be. What's gonna happen this kind of structure? It's up to you. So that was the first gap. People don't have enough capacity on how to produce good quality. And then the second gap was market facilitation for good quality. So yaba we remodel our project ka hore go find hydroponic system. You buy it, how ka ta ho e reka go fa free training ya letsatsi ga o ruta ka ntwe ha re kata ho ruta o tloa ka ho iketsetsa sethopo ha re kata ho ruta go fa a 6 months ya free mentorship mo re dulang kana le wena ha o kopana le diqholotso hore itsile ka ba qholotso tsa hore o bona dikokonyana o bona o shwella ke dijalo the EC and pH meters tsa wa di sa sebetsa hantle whatever the challenges o bona EC ya hao kapa manyolo a hao sa ba too much. That's the language ya hydroponics so sabele ka yona so o bona manyolo a hao sa ba too much ka ya grow channels. We take you through the journey for the next 6 months. But later on, we remodeled it and then it's a WhatsApp group. The service is now free and forever. You can allow our agronomists to take in a group ka mono. Titla how kopana le challenge o le so I see under our project about to free of charge. So we saw the gap ya hore ha hona batho ba handhold and dihwai tsena throughout a lifetime journey ya their project ko ba thusa fela ka service be mona hlagagega that's what I went through ka greenhouse ye ke neng ke ile ka expand into it service provider ga neng inketsetsa yona if clear hloma fela ya ba that's it. So what I can tell you ko ka ga plastic tunnel e hlile hona le diqholotso tse ngata ho feta. So you have to kind of be in a position so I was like, okay, this is another gap. So the gap the market facilitation, capacity building, and then ibeba hand holding. So now as I mentioned, we are still trying to stabilize the project. The high but you know it's a process and it's taking long, and then you know that's the biggest milestone. But let's say if
so currently the employees as a company.
Okay, currently we 14 permanent, and then be casual like currently one biggest project it's the biggest one so casual about 6. So in total, I got 20, myself included.
So, do you think entrepreneurship can be the solution to unemployment crisis na Lesotho? Also, if o ka fana ka advice di feng ho batjha kapa government hore crisis ya unemployment na ho ka etsahala jwang ka yona hore sewa sena na se be le thaolo?
A good one, but a tough one. It's kind of subjective, because here is the thing: entrepreneurship is not for everybody. We cannot say it's a solution to unemployment. No, it can be a solution. It cannot, because that way you would be forcing everybody to go into entrepreneurship, and then it needs resilience. You cannot teach resilience. It needs patience. You can never teach patience. It needs perseverance. You can never. It needs a lot of soft skills still. So if I can say Mochesane is an ultimate solution, I would be actually advising the entire nation to, to go into something that doesn't even have a guarantee or how a youth would succeed in business. Something is a solution, it's something it can actually be, we can give guarantee or it's gonna be a success. How you can even see if the kgwebo tse kgolo tse kang bo ka mine are facing closure. Entrepreneurship in a risky hakai. So we can say it's an ultimate solution. And then 10 years, and then you have a retrenchment because the market can also see in demand of the service of Fanangayo. So that would be, I would be giving a wrong impression. It's something that can help us. But ultimately, but it's not an ultimate solution per se. But we would need the system, environment enabling entrepreneurship in Lesotho. Yes, we can say entrepreneurship is unemployment, but we need an enabling environment. Who is a you start first. Decline. We know we have very little buying power. That's the first. Then you get declined. Currently it's vision land. It's a business landscape very fertile. A lot of saturation. Everybody can get into farming, and then they can, if there is that enabling environment, there can be a lot of success. Enabling environment on specific challenges. First one, the standards. We need to have facility certifier tusa whatever production or be certified the standards internationally these dominant retailers. That's one. How less why unto kala uyamane but produce how the prices in because you don't have a standards body that's regulating you are following those standards. So they give you what they want, not what you think you deserve. That's one thing to actually meet the potential. So ya bobedi ke taba ya we don't have, I think eating. No, it's still in the building process. We don't have contract farming. The industry because but in generally ke enabling environment is for kgwebo ka ga Lesotho. Ke bua ka contract farming. Contract farming ha e keta ho finalize e keta ho ba existing jwale se implement. Nna ke le sehwai ke le Mochesane jina, I would be in a position to approach any dominant retailer I have the capacity, I have certificate one of the popular the most used standards gap certificate is a gap Lesotho Institutes Lesotho Standards Institute is in how high sale thing. I would be like certificate is from money and I have the capacity. Then we get into contract. Le retailer contract about 2 to 3 years. Then I will know how I can produce as a khahla se motho yona se hloka. Ke sa tshowe hore the next day ha ke se ke fihla ke tlo kokota o tlo nwetsa that's that's what happens on average. Client ka tswa you with a fellow se ke fumane something you have from somebody. You don't have a contract. They are not obligated to hunger product. That's what's happening. For me currently, I still feel like if we can say entrepreneurship is the ultimate solution, we need an enabling environment. How register. Let's say you have moved past all these other preliminary challenges. We establish how professionally. What's next? We have limited growth, so we cannot say it's an ultimate solution currently. But if environment enable go, definitely I can say everybody go all in, because a simple thing you're financing your entrepreneurship currently Lesotho ke bothata. If motho wa sena all the soft skills take building ka tsona resilience le ha tšhelete e sa kene enough, definitely they will have to close shop. But if there is a financing mechanism ya hore okay o qadile o solimona but o kopana le challenge ena tlo go thuse go ise from where you are to the next stage. Financing institutes, not the grants. We know the grants are competent, so definitely they are kind of limited. So we are a little bit kind of established. There's a challenges from where they are to the next one, and then you still don't have that. They need a lot of the current environment. So yeah, the question is subjective, but if we want to get to the point there about a solution, we need to first create that enabling environment. There are a lot of challenges. Insurance high for the MSME. I know LNIG is trying to to establish something like that. Maybe they have already established it, but it's one step towards the right direction. Then we need financing mechanism. How approach LNDC? They have a lot of the requirements in that thing. Or approach post banking. There are a lot of complications, GCFO, so yeah, it needs to be a little bit easier for us to reach that stage.
Well, if you want to go check out the products,
okay. Product is it? We have product here and it's in the Hydroponics collective. So how can I share? Le work some more kapohona hodima the spice. Le bitzole le ngotse how can I share it? How can I spice? Spice is in a sarona mona kinkile Greek seasoning. So ngotse Hydroponics collective the creek seasoning. So the inputs, 90% ya di inputs tse spices di tswa from the client tsane tse re itseng di kene tlasa letlole lena la rona. So what we do ke hore bona ba hlahise ka tsela e re batlang. Re ntse ka ba guide ka sa ba see fela, and then maybe we buy their inputs, and then maybe re tlo etsa the spicy le tea. So ke a gola the ultimate goal ke hore re be le an ecosystem e re reng we have the capacity ya ho ba le enough input supply tse re di hlokang ka hara Lesotho e le naha. So if we have those enough inputs, what can we do about the inputs? We are working very hard to have enough capacity to have inputs or reduce importation. Then the next question for us was, what do we do next? Now we have the capacity. We can take it to the retailer, but we don't have contracts. What's next? What if we have surplus? Yeah, the product is our challenge. Yeah, we are like, okay, herbs can be used or preserved. The first one, ekaba organic teas, ekaba organic spices, ekaba ditlotso, ekaba di ointments, ekaba essential oils. Ko mekgwa e mengata bona. So re qadile ka di products tse tharo. Products tse tharo tsena ke Greek seasoning, ebe ba Mediterranean tangy seasoning, and then ebe ba Italian seasoning. Then we have basil tea. So the spice in tsena and then test the market. We have already given a lot of samples. The restaurant le di hotel tse fokolang. So what we wanna achieve ke hore ebe ho sebediswa di products tsena tse hlahang from our clients ka hara most of the restaurants ka hara naha. And then ebe for the tea we currently have the blend tse tharo ke basil tea pure le yona ile jwalo, and then we also have basil plus mint tea, and then maybe we have basil plus stingy nettle tea. So how to say this is the first step. The next step we since in the sebetsana le sona ke hore re stabilize market access kapo re stabilize the sales tsa di spices tse, re stabilize the sales tsa tea. Then step se tla hlahlang e tlo ba ho eketsa di blend tsa di spice, then ebe re eketsa di blend tsa tea. We are already doing research here hore na basil tea ya rona re ka etsa ebe honey infused jwang, re ka etsa ebe lemon infused. You know, there are a lot of products we can get ha re se re qadile ka this one. Le hona di spice mona fela ha re so bue ka di spice tse ka sebediswang ele di topping, ha re so bue ka di basically pure jwalo fela. There are a lot of possibilities around here, but to get there we had to first start, and then re sebetse ka taba packaging. You can see packaging yena. Yeah, I am proud to get a so you motho a ratang ntho tse ntle le tea yena you realize hore hanga ka o bulela yona fela ke etse tjena ke hle ko bontshe o tlo hlo e bona hore na ha ke bua ka hore ke motho a ratang ntho tse ntle na ke bua kang, because ke motho e reng ha ko ke rata hore ha ke entse ntho even in the next 10 years ha ke bona ibe ha ke swabile hore product ena ke ya. So this is what we are trying to achieve. We have the packaging in tlena, and then even we have yena ya tea bag ka bo yona. The tea bag yena ha we ntsha, it's something like this. So this is the level e re hlokang ho reach. So we had to first focus on the packaging. Aga kata ho nepa packaging le yona le ha ntse ena le di-part, but ebe re ka ya mmarake. So the next stage to improve packaging, to improve tasty, and then 40 I can leave you a box because what I meant staging serial nale to be staging serial. We are ready to do improvements as much as needed. So it's not an answer fanaga to already sample. A lot of reviews. What can we do? Hence, the infusion. A lot of people talked about honey infusion, lemon infusion, but this basil tea relaxation. Relax this one is gonna help you to relax. It's online if I search about it. Pop up and bill. You to relax. I will depression, anxiety, stress. It will to relax. How we need. So so that one I don't know because I haven't used it, but it's a give my review how kawaii now sing, but kina from the fact that you to start to relax. I joke enough man a lot of things you went through, so how you get to calm down. That's the biggest one. But there are a lot of them. But this is where we are under it. And we need to move forward. And we are ready.
Well, with what inspires you? Like, to be better, personally.
Another tough one. I think I am more inspired, I'm more inspired ki the challenge. I think the challenge so I don't run away from challenges. I solve them. But I will tell you, if I can sleep on it, definitely the next day I'll be like, so I'm more inspired problem solving. That's my biggest soft skill, problem solving. Back in the day, C# programming. I was a top performer in that module because it was more about problem solving. So problem solving for me, it's more of it brings more opportunities. Either financial opportunities, learning opportunities, personal development. So every time when I find a problem, most of the times my successes came from solving either my own problem or a client's problem. So each and every day I try to solve either what I'm going through currently or the next person. If was not a challenge you can net, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be where I am. So I don't think it's it's more of an inspiration, it's a personality. I don't know where the viewer as I want to try when I as a person you'd put it.
Okay. Well, what can you say to Bachale Batswadi Mansuka Ashonko Anakiaki?
Okay. For Bacha Kiakola Holo. Nna ke rata ho bua facts. Motho a ka batla ke kgothaletse bana ho kena kgwebong. Kgwebo ya lahla. Nix. Especially in this business environment ya Lesotho. So what I can put to Bacha is yes, there is an opportunity behind entrepreneurship, but you must be prepared for the challenge. There is opportunity, but there are a lot of challenges that will try to take you under. There is a saying, our entrepreneurship will try to kill you first. And hasin to hang ki entse mohlala hore o ka solve a challenge ya go mosebetsi o imetse client e se di lengata ka solve a challenge ba hira motho then wa kopana le challenge ya di client tse reviewang ya product hampe the hate ya ba tshulisa ya etisang you have to solve that also. So yes, there is an opportunity, but you have to be mentally ready for it. So we prepare for the challenges, a lot of people barata hore babueka one okay school, but school cannot prepare you for life challenges. That's one. Kikene school, I'm not against the school. School is to prepare to a certain level. But the champion is on the battlefield. Okay, school but the champions will be selected on the battlefield. That's where we will know this person has the potential in the business world. This one is good in the corporate world. So what I can say ke hore go batjha ba easily influenced ho kena kgwebo. Yes, look at it as an opportunity, but wena o le motho o be honest with yourself. O ska bona mahe fela ya ba ha o bone le ka. A lot of people love to get ke mo gona ba tla wela kapo ke tla wela di scam the money scheming tse ngata tsena because we wanna grab the opportunity ke be ke kotule hang. We don't wanna go through the process. Entrepreneurship is a process. It's a process e leng hore gona le nako e leng hore being stagnant. So without clients, without anything business wise, is also a process. Ke itse ho wena ke registered the business in 2021, but it was only in 2023 qalelang ho ya pay and pay. So kana hana na what was happening during the period. One thing e ileng ya nthusa nna ke hore kana go ke nentse ke sebetsa somewhere. So if you have your day-to-day job, don't be influenced ho ya kgwebong e be o solahla mosebetsi wa hao, because you go on an opportunity. No, what I would advise go through that process. Maybe how can you do it as a side hustle. You to finance it, and then when you are sitting, now I think can pay the expenses you will live. A lot of people feel like when things come easier for them, no. Basotho ka rata ho etsa I don't know the correct word or the best way to put this, but glorious. We love glorifying so to an extent now you feel like even if unale something yet out to say ska ha o lo lema o dula o nkile gafu le peke o lo tsetolla ka o lo etsang ibe o ka focus on other things. We glorify hona o sebetsa ka thata hono monna go re ibe o nkile peke o lo checka mane monna go re ibe o kena ka mokoting. So you're not facting ya hore we glorify ho sebetsa ka thata ho re senyetsa nako ho etsa batho ba bangata ba feel ka re they have to struggle for the businesses to be meaning. What I can tell you that ha hona ntho monate jwalo ka hore side hustle ya how in hole without you having the financial stress about how it grows. The way that can happen, you can have it as a side hustle, it's a 9 to 5. You can apply for grants. You can approach investors. But what out to say, you have an idea. I love this idea. Let's go into this business. Let's go into this business. Those are some of the things that out to say. Environment imagine the financial stress below the financial muscle. So my advice is start wherever you are, but sky to me lahore glorify. If there is a solution to say how a hole at the pace you do mainly healing you be your daily processes. Go for it. Don't glorify who you are starting each and every day. You can find somebody who does that. You focus on moving the business forward. Don't glorify who season no. That mentality creates the business delay stagnant. Yet we can have but you feel like yeah, my advice would be there are a lot of possibilities, even if the environment is still not enabling yet. If you go into entrepreneurship, be prepared and then make sure that whatever a helping hand comes forward, but do is your due diligence. Letting haki advice motohari, yeah, I love this idea. To go for 100K on fair 60% shareholding. You also do no. It's a due diligence how formulate the contract, formulate shareholding agreements, those things kind of way out to sell an upper hand in your business. But make sure that you grab whatever the opportunity comes your way. So for Batswadi, yeah, well, most of our parents, believe in educational systems. So, motohasa fitile stage 18. mindset wa hae o ka se hlotse o change ho hang motswadi ha ka ngwana ka tsamaya o etsa BSc o tsebe ho ha sebetsa bo Vodacom ore ntle le hore kana go engwe iketsetse something you want ha ba tlo tloela. So it's kind of difficult to advise batswadi check ke nnete se le batswadi on our 30s so bana he ke bona enga ka ba advise hore for me I feel like ha o ntse o le motswadi ya motjha yes, go into entrepreneurship. It can allow you to leave a legacy for your kid, but don't go into it that emotion. You have to calculate the risks with the risk calculation. Ke motho wa ana le very high appetite for risk, but by the way, I resigned in 2023 after I calculated the movies. The chess movies for like the company is now at this stage. Ha ke tswa mona tlo fumana ditjhelete tsa pension fund tse etsang that emergency fund ya over 6 months ya ntse ke le ka o iphumana ona le di grant tse tla nthusa to subsidize the expense le leng. Maybe this is the right time to get out of corporate world. I didn't just do it emotionally. No, corporate world can be stressful also, but I did my risk calculation. The company is growing rapidly. I need to focus more on it, and then I still, up to this day, I still don't regret how I resigned. I need to have some challenges, financially, but I think if I didn't resign, I wouldn't be where I am now, and the company will still be, surviving. We wouldn't have moved from 2 employees to about 20. We wouldn't have hydroponics all over Lesotho. We also wouldn't have these products. So currently Milko le hona go betswana go tšhabela mane le office ya gona ye nngwe e teng ka mo re processang this e teng ka go betswana ka motseng mo Njays, but we wouldn't be here. So it was a calculated move. So if you are a young parent and then you still have mosebetsi wa hao 9 to 5, you wanna have leave some legacy for your kid, go for it, but due diligence, your honesty, preparing yourself for the journey.
So for you, oswele motswadi kapa
yes. Uka se ke bua ka botswadi je. Ke na le a 9-year-old son. Ye leng hore hantle e hlile ke ne na le mindset wa go le nna ke mo dumella etse what he needs, but ntse ke tsamaya mona ke dira kopana le one of client ya gona ya ba we talk ke le ga tatella se go bile ka taba tse personal ya ba like in that ke a bona ntse tsamaya le motho ena hydroponics ka ofela. You are doing good, so mukrume a hlakena ka hydroponics. Even now I'm like, no, I'm gonna allow him to do what he wants. No. That's not how to do it. Bana ba mehlobo e mong o holela ka hara kgwebo e leng hore later on they are gonna go back into it, and then I run. That's how you build a legacy. You make sure that your family is involved in the business. Ke mo gona o tla hangata o tla fumana hona le family businesses tse bileng di leng successful go feta di business tsena tse ding tsa mofuta o fapaneng haholo ka hara teng. Dikgwebo tsa temo boholo ba tsona they succeed because it is a family legacy. You groom whatever you are, you groom your offsprings. you groom them, and then you make sure they come back with new skills, of course. But I school it's economics maybe, but they will have to come back with that certain skill to improve wherever you ended. Not hore it's something totally different from whatever you would be doing. That is why bana gitsemhlala. I know it's not the correct words, but I'm just gonna be frank. Bana ba makula o hola ha khutlela ha tswa sekolo a lo rekisa ka shopong. On weekends ba rekisa. They can go back to school, ba ya tertiary ba etsang, but how about hodile, they come back with skills, they come back with ideas, they come back with innovation to take whatever the business is that is to the next level. That's how family legacies are built. So I was like, oh yes. I allow him to do whatever he wants. So hello, get so now the mindset has changed. I'm like, okay, training le tell Bruna body system is a hydroponics thing, high. And then maybe I'm like, I have to make him very close, but nakoyana sanana or sanali choice. Yes. That's where I am now.
And we hope to have you again in the future. Any last words you'd like to say before Kwala?
Okay. I think my words would be more towards you guys. I think the platform is key to challenge enabling business environment. Focus ya society on Lesotho is more about drama, politics, how bulela radio, hubua ka ausia between kai hubua ka mothabula ile mwa hae kai. That's what's silly in Lesotho. Drama is what's silly. So what I would say, about the podcast, it's more focused in business. Your team is to thank you for the opportunity, because sorry, most of the time, moto to tell your story, kana be limited if you have a radio interview. But I am hoping for your podcast to live forever, for you to succeed, because if your podcast succeeds, my kid is gonna watch this as early 20 years. It's gonna come back and see this. My grandkids can also come and watch this. So it says, for me, it's more about wanting whatever I'm building today to have a future impact. So you guys are helping me to be able to write my story, document it, and then the grandkids. So what I want for you is to keep going. Make this podcast a success. Yeah, can I lead goal later on, also something else, and then also focus. But all in all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to sell this, because the community is focused on drama. How say more drama and the Lesotho how that is why when I love to have buy CBD for attention, and then maybe also advertise because drama sells. So for Batuba, that's a drama like myself. Opportunity I take it seriously, hence ubona ngita yele prepared. this is one of the places that I'm gonna sell. I cannot go on social media, cause some drama, cause the attention. If you say, let's see where I can tea, because most people will talk maybe it's a marketing strategy. I'm like, hey, ne? The same trap cause drama because but I would love to thank you for the opportunity, and then I wish success upon your podcast. I wanna see this episode 30 to 40 years to come. That's what you are offering me. But this can be an inspiration in the next 10 years, either for me or for somebody else. It will be on the same level as mine, of which I wouldn't get if some beats. Okay.
That was a holding out.
I didn't even get the opportunity to work at the current project. So